So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Lisa's Porch. Just that little old lady on her porch being super opinionated. Um, in news since Friday, I guess, give or take. Some of it's from before Friday. You never can tell in this world. Apparently, Israel uh, did a pretty tactical strike and killed 6 journalists. Um, and they pretty much have the same attitude as our people in charge of the whole deport everybody who's brown initiative, where if you were another journalist with the journalist they didn't like, well, that was your problem. Good morning, bathrobe guy. I guess you're an early person too. Do you not sleep? Oh my goodness. Um, but anyhow, yeah, they killed 6 journalists with a missile. They insisted that one was a member of Hamas, Al Jazeera, and the man in question both denied that, but he's still just as dead, and so are all the other journalists who were with him. Um, oh, it's okay, Linda. It was mostly me babbling about the fact I am babbling. Hi, Adrian. I just was finding it hard to stay at 5 minutes, and all these different things that were driving me crazy today bubbled into my brain, and I decided I was just going to go live, say hi to people, complain about a few things, and at least when it's live, I have an excuse to talk for more than 5 minutes. So here I am in my morning. No breakfast yet, no coffee, just me and my front porch swing. Um, the chickens interrupted one time because they heard me talking and I had not opened the chicken house. And I hear bark, 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 bark. And chicken's going, hey, open up our chicken house door. The sun is up. Why are you over there talking and not opening the chicken house door? Oh, bathrobe guy, I usually don't drink coffee. In fact, I rarely drink tea. With all the drugs I'm on, I'm surprised I'm awake most of the time. Oh my goodness. But anyhow, um, on other frustrating and upsetting news, because I gotta ruin your Monday, right? Uh, we find out what exactly Trump has in store for Washington, D.C. as he takes away their autonomy, puts a whole bunch of troops on the ground, and probably, if we're lucky, we'll find out what he does to the homeless. We might not. But yeah, bathrobe guy, usually I make my coffee, I freshly grind the beans and then I do a French press. And I'm usually too lazy in the morning to get that motivated, and it's more of a for company thing. And at least if you come to my house, you get coffee that's been fussed over. But I don't fuss over my own coffee very often. I've been kind of wishing for a couple of cantaloupes and have some cantaloupe and some coffee would be a very nice breakfast now that I think about it. But I'll probably just have a thing of yogurt because I'm lazy. I have other things I feel like doing besides making breakfast. Today I'm supposed to go to the fair and do that. That should be interesting. I'm going to be handing out information and manning the Democratic Party booth. I keep hoping to find some Democrats who might have some information about how to get better plugged in. Though I was told they are desperate for people to run for anything. They want somebody in every election and they just aren't getting the volunteers that they'd hope for. So if you can run for anything, run for anything. I'm thinking I might be healthy enough to join the school board. But as a grandmother with no kids in it, I don't know. Okay, Adrian, have a good day at work. 12 hours is a long shift. My husband used to do 16-hour shifts as an LPN working with a quadriplegic. He preferred private duty because he could take care of the patients. Before that, he worked in nursing homes, and it really upset him because they were always short staffed. They were always skipping or cutting corners in the care, and he couldn't handle it ethically. It just upset him too much. So he didn't do that anymore. Uh, but I'm kind of interested to figure out what Trump has in store for the homeless people in DC, because the homeless problem in DC really bothers him, but not in a way that somebody who has any amount of compassion would have for how it bothers them. It bothers him that they're there and people see it and it looks bad. So he just wants to hide them somewhere. And of course, best guess, good morning, Sharon, is I'm so glad you're here, bathrobe guy, being my wingman. Um, but best guess is he's going to put them in jail. Though when he was campaigning, his bright idea was to create homeless encampments outside of city limits and just have the homeless live there. Um, there are people in the movement suggesting that what we should do is we should take all the homeless and all the people that get any kind of benefits from the government, put them all in camps, and then force them to be labor for farmers who are losing um their labor from the migrant workers. Um I worked on Good morning, Marcia. I worked on a potato harvester once. I get very easily motion sick, and being dragged across a bumpy field backwards with a conveyor belt in front of me going sideways, trying to see the rocks to throw them back into the field while the potatoes went to the potato thing made me so incredibly sick that when we stopped for our first break, I walked home. It wasn't the work itself, it was how the work was done, but I was also only 14, and, I really don't see from everything I've read, most people don't expect a lot of Americans to very happily or very effectively do this kind of work. Now we used to, in fact, there was a very famous photo series of American migrants, that were struggling to get by. And I can't remember the name of the photographer. It was a woman photographer. And there's that really famous one of the migrant workers sitting in front of like this shanty. But what's really sad and an opportunity for justice at the same time is maybe if we put Americans back into those positions, we'll decide that the way people who are in them are treated is pretty sad, and maybe we'll actually do something about that. Because right now, those people don't get adequate bathroom breaks. They don't get adequate hydration. They get they live in very cramped quarters on top of each other practically. They have very long days where they're paid piecemeal. They are not paid by the hour, they are paid by the piece. So you are constantly working against, quotas, and they don't get paid well because we can't afford to pay them well because we don't get paid well. And the whole system in its way is an exploitative disaster. So there is the hope that maybe things could improve if Americans get stuck in those jobs for a while, but I don't see that really happening. Good morning, Lucy. So, more opportunities for us to learn a little bit and maybe to stand up and say this is wrong. It's interesting that we prefer not to know where our food comes from. Let's face it. And part of it's because if we're like me and you've got $1,500 a month to pay all your utilities and your taxes and your insurance and buy food and take care of your critters, there's no such thing as extra money. Um, I struggle with that because I can remember back when I was still in churches that are, well, more Christian nationalists than some others. When someone like me was struggling, their first argument would be they wouldn't say it to the person though, but they'd say it to each other. They'd be like, well, if they really need money so bad, they should get rid of all of their pets. And that would be more than enough money for them to get by on. And of course, I bought the acreage to not have to pay to feed the horses very often because I knew I couldn't. Um, and I guess I have to admit the cat and dog food probably costs me $60 or so a month. Um, and my son is messaging me because he owes me money and I need to get with him soon about that. Hannah Manea. That's an interesting name. Hello, DEO. And I've gone way over the 5 minutes I normally do. Um, this was supposed to be a pretty quick thing. I wonder if my dog's gotten out of the road yet. She went and laid down in the middle of the road. And it's like, dogs, cars go there. But she didn't care because there weren't any cars. Oh, no, she's in the yard. She's barking at the neighbor dog, saying, don't come near my yard. You stay out of my yard, neighbor dog. She actually chased the neighbor dog out of our yard once. I was like, please don't have bit the neighbor dog. Don't get me in trouble with the neighbor. He's a former cop and I don't want him on my bad side. So, yes, I know who my neighbors are. Kind of. I know that neighbor. He actually showed up and said hi. Um, and I know people that live over a mile away. And I kind of know the people next to me because they weren't feeding their dog and he kept coming to my house and he killed my chickens. So, anyhow, I am going to get going though because my porch thoughts went way too long. There are always opportunities to do something, even if it's just telling someone to have a great day and meaning it. If you see somebody who looks together, tell them. Tell them, "Oh my goodness, you are looking awesome today. I love that dress on you," or "I love those shorts," whatever. Give someone a happy moment today. And don't give up hope. As long as we stick together, we might be in this for a long time, but as long as we stick together, we'll make it through to the other side and we'll have a list of ways to fix things for next time. Okay? You guys have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you again soon.